All right, welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the betting show that makes the squares sharper, especially today. Makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined by my co-host, my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing?
You know what? This is the first Sunday in a couple of years where I actually feel pretty good about the Sunday panic. The way this game for the Titans and the Broncos just ended should make us feel really good. We have almost made it through our first Sunday, 4 of 5 picks down. We are 3-1 to start the season with one more to go. Tonight, Sunday Night Football, we have the Ravens. We like them all week. The contest line that we got was 1.5, but we still both bet them as favorites. We bet them at -1. We like them up to -2. Still time to grab it. We're going to get into it. Our last out were the Tennessee Titans plus 7.5. Whew. Jets, Raiders, Seahawks at plus 2.5. Lions at plus 1.5. Listen, if we had just chosen the Jets or the Raiders, who we had been in on all week instead of the Dolphins, we would be undefeated right now. We'd be 4-0. But as you said, the panic is real on Sunday. We overthought a lot of games. But truly, a lot of our logic that we discussed today on the show, which people could have heard, so they would have known exactly where we landed for the day, about line value that we discussed, as much as it kept us from putting the Jets and the Raiders in, it also kept us from putting the Lions in. It kept us from putting the Titans in, who were 7.5 in the contest. Even kept us from putting the Seahawks in. So let's see how we did, buddy. You ready?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're going to keep going. It's...
All you have to do is say yes. Sometimes I can't see you because I'm looking at the script, and so I can't see the screen.
When you're on a roll like that, I like just to let you go.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Listen, old habits die hard, so we're going to get the ugly one out of the way. This bet completely makes me sick. What did I say all week? I said I was not going to make impulsive decisions. I said I was not going to make bets on Sunday in the morning because I liked something all week and felt like the line moved a little bit in my direction. And I would have avoided the whole thing. If you hadn't brought up the Miami Dolphins this morning, because I was out. I wasn't even thinking about it. I hadn't bet it. And yet it became a game that I bet, and it became a game that we put into the contest. What happened to us?
You said you loved it.
I said I loved it all week. Yeah, I'm counting on you.
That's what happened.
To be the voice of Better Angels. I wasn't even going to bring it up on the show this morning. I skipped it. And
honestly,
then you said to me, what about Miami?
I was going to say, I just wanted out of your Detroit bet. So in my mind, I was like, okay, if I'm taking one super chalky bet, which we said Detroit was a public dog.
Yep.
The other game you said you loved was Miami. It was like, okay, I'll make the deal with the devil. But, it was going to be a loss. Like even the 7.5 with Tennessee, I was confident in, but I knew for some reason one of these games, and it ended up being two of them, were really going to matter when it came to that number. And it was the Jets, the 2.5. And obviously the Tennessee with the 8.5. Could have played 7.5 in contest, would have been a loser. And I know it gets annoying to people, but that's why we are such sticklers about it. Getting the best of the number, try to play as safe as possible in the contest. And it was a bad look. Like again, a lot of games we love this week. Obviously, I wish you loved them too. And we could have talked ourselves into it. But Washington, the Bucks.
Yeah.
They were all sitting right there as well, besides our Raiders and Jets love. And that's what's so fun and hard about these contests. Like, I told you for months that I hated Miami. I thought Miami was the worst team in football. You were disgusted. I mean, truly disgusted when I told you I would bet them pretty heavily to be the worst team in football, 20-1. And I got where you're coming from, right? Everyone just hated them so much. Sometimes it goes the other way. This time it did not. Like you said, they were a train wreck from the start. Everything was just going wrong. And if I'm going to lose, that's how I want to lose. Just quick death. It was over. Took it out of my $4. Never even put that game ever back on ever again.
Dead bet. Daniel Jones looked like Johnny Unitas playing for the Colts. Like Tua was so bad, throwing picks, fumbles. He looked horrible. Like at one point, I made a note of this. In the third quarter, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Ty Warren all had more total yards than the entire Dolphins team.
Yeah.
The Dolphins team only had 62 yards midway through the second quarter. They all had more yards on their own than the Dolphins. It was actually a truly pathetic display of a team not being ready, of a team getting blown off the field from the second the game started. They were atrocious.
Yeah, and I think you see what I was trying to warn you about. They don't have a secondary. They don't have an offensive line. And that's going to be an absolute problem for that team and what they need to make it work. So, this show's called Sharper Square. Our square bet of the week goes to Chad Millman and his love for the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see what the sharp bet was. I got a good feeling I know what it is, but that was definitely the squarest bet we made this week. Well, Miami was dead from the
unfortunately, it was my square pick in our Sharper Square head-to-head in which you had Denver. So, although, no, you had Tennessee. Who did you end up having?
Yeah, Tennessee
8.5. At 8.5. So, yeah, man, great day for you. Great. You know what? You're crushing it. Yeah. You are fantastic.
No, brother, you spent 3 months gallivanting, traveling the world, writing a book. I was in a hole watching film, crunching numbers, just to be told I'm a fraud on the internet.
I can't wait to talk about how I've already bet Miami -1.5 against the Patriots at home.
I love it. Love where your head's at.
All right, the one we nailed, Cleveland +5.5. We loved it from the beginning. This was your Simon Says. I wanted it to be Chad Loves Love. The first drive of the game, I wasn't even worried. Like, this defense was elite against the Bengals. Joe Flacco did it. We predicted on Tuesday there was going to be a narrative for this game. The narrative was going to be Kevin Stefanski wants Joe Flacco to not screw up this game. He wants to be conservative. He wants his defense to dominate. All of those things happened. If not for a rookie kicker missing an extra point and a chip shot field goal and drop passes that led to interceptions from the Browns win this game pretty, not handily, but it's not a sweat. Like, they were the much better team today.
Yeah, and that, to me, that was our sharp bet of the week. That was my flu game. I was sick as a dog this past week. Tried to make it work for the show, tried to hide it the best I could, but just getting back in the book, being around all these people again, I have to wash my hands every 10 minutes. That's what I'm starting to realize once I'm getting back into these type of places. And, this game all week, I just kept betting it. Like, I would be sick laying in bed. I'm like, I got to get up. I got to go bet this Browns number again. And, Jerry Jeudy gave me a run for the money on that game. He had a couple of huge drops, bad pick off of his hands. The kicker killing us. I mean, we win that game outright on that Browns money line so many different ways.
My God.
That's what's so sickening about betting these dogs is they're bad teams, right? They find ways to lose. We see the time and time again. That's the difference between teams that win perennially and these teams that just lose, like the Browns did today, where it's like everything that can go wrong goes wrong in the worst times. And that's a game we talked, right? 3.5 is what it probably should have been. We got 2 free points. Got a little scary, right, at certain points, but overall, you never really worried about the 5.5 or 5. So those are the best type of dogs you bet, where it's like you think you're going to win, you still lose on the money line, but overall, that number you bet was just a great number at the plus number.
Yeah, it's true. There was no point in this game where I felt like the bet was really in jeopardy. Joe Flacco was exactly what you wanted him to be. There was a drive in the second quarter, took about 9 minutes. He was 9 of 11 on the drive, right? They score the touchdown. That's when they miss the extra point. To open the fourth quarter, they have back-to-back drops on 3rd and 4th down from just inside midfield. On 4th down, it was Jeudy who led the NFL in drops last year. But the defense is so freaking good, and this is going to This is going to be a tough one for us this year, Simon, because we like to bet good defenses. There was a series where the Bengals were sacked 3 straight times, 2 of them by Myles Garrett. They ended up punting from the back line of their end zone. And that still could have made like the game-winning play for the Browns if they had made that freaking field goal. So I don't know what you think of the Browns. Like, we loved it all week. I think they're already listed as 12.5-point dogs to Baltimore next week. So when we get to our early leans, I have a feeling that game is going to come up.
Yeah, I love the Browns, and there'll be a lot of opportunities this upcoming season to take them when, like this week, people just didn't believe in them. The public loved the Bengals, and they got very lucky on their teasers that number came through and Survivor contest.
Yeah. Jags minus 2.5 in the contest. It closed at 4.5, I think. It was a very physical game to start. But Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence's first touchdown pass was a rollout to a wide open tight end from about the 10-yard line. The guy was open forever. I actually yelled, throw it to him. And then, of course, like, he doesn't even make the touch pass. It's a little bit too much of a laser. But it worked. And like, before the weather delay, you sort of had the feeling the Jaguars were what everyone said they were. They were better physically. They were more talented. I wasn't that impressed with Trevor Lawrence. Like, he was okay. It'll be tricky to try to figure out this team and tricky to figure out the Panthers. I'm going to have to watch it. I didn't spend that much time on it because they were dominating so much. So I don't know if Bryce Young was just bad or if he just has no help whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it went exactly how we predicted of the talent level with the Jaguars team compared to that Panthers team. And your bet on the Jaguars to win their division, I can see it. Like, they're not that good, but I can see a 9-8 winning this division somehow. And Trevor, so much potential, but like you said, he just does things that are so bad. Like, he's so stupid, and like his reads sometimes you're just like, man, I don't get it. I just don't get why he's not taking that next step. Maybe as time will go on, he'll get more comfortable with this offense and he won't look as lost as he did at some points today. But if they had any type of pass rush, the Panthers, there's a couple times he would have been in real trouble. Yeah. But he could just stand back there. Even when he was moving the pocket, they had no one that could even run him down. He just really had his way. And it all started to me because of the run game. And we talked about, the big upgrade they had to the offense was, their head coach, and the fact that the running game to me was the difference of this game. They just really, really ran the ball down the throat of this Panthers defense. And, you said it, Bryce Young struggled mightily in this game. And, a little worrisome if you believed in the Panthers. He looked like the bad Bryce from last year of making bad reads, being late on throws, and staying in the pocket too long. But like you said, they're just, you question what's that talent around him. So we'll see. Again, he's got that rookie receiver. Chuba Hubbard's a good running back. We'll see as the offense goes along here at Panthers if they actually get into a rhythm. They just looked so lost today. And, that's the rare time that this one jumped out to us. It felt way too easy, and we took it anyway, and it was never in doubt.
Yeah. Here's the challenge. You know that we love to bet teams off a blowout the following week because they're never as bad as they looked in the week they were blown out. So how are we going to manage a conversation about the Panthers this week? How are we going to manage a conversation about the Dolphins this week? We're going to get into all that with our early week 2 leans, and I want to talk a little bit about how we should be proud of ourselves and some of our regrets from our conversations, because as you pointed out, it's not easy to settle on the 5, and it's not easy when you could go 6-3 on the day, but 2-3 in a contest, because it's hard to figure out which games that you feel best about. So let's take a quick moment before we get to the week 2 leans. Let's hear from our friends at Hard Rock Bet before we get into the next part of the conversation. We are crazy excited to announce our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. I don't know if you know this. I've got a very long history of staying at Hard Rock hotels and casinos, including one football season, practically living there, literally. They've always been, to me, the best combination of vibe and fun. Now you can use the top-rated Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook to place your bets all NFL season and beyond. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states launching all the time. You can also play on Hard Rock Bet's online casino if you are in New Jersey. Simon, I know you want to check that out. From here on out, you'll start to see us use Hard Rock Bet lines when we're talking about the games. And everyone knows Simon and I, we have loved getting out and doing live shows. Now we can actually do them from Hard Rock property. Simon, do we see a sharp or square live show from AC just down the road from you in our future? As we gear up for NFL season, sign up for Hard Rock Bet. Make a $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Head over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. You know what? I kind of like the theme music for that ad. It's very tropical. If I were to review, I think I'm most proud that we never fell prey to the Panthers at plus 3.5, that we actually played the Jags, followed some line value, even if that was a last minute move. I'm also really proud of our conversation this morning that we backed out of Tennessee because it was at 7.5, and that you listened to me about Seattle. I thought that was some just excellent communication. As someone who's been married for a long time, I feel like we exhibited really good open dialogue to come to consensus about how to avoid some really big pitfalls that have plagued us during our relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot of landmines out there, and that's the hardest part. Here, I'm trying to find out which ones we should be taking, which ones you should be avoiding. And I know a lot of really, really smart guys who bet really heavy today on the Falcons, on the Giants, and I got their reasoning, but it felt lucky that we were on the other side of those. And the games, like you said, the games we'll own, we'll wear, are the games we miss, and obviously Raiders, Jets. Hindsight 2020, wish we had those in, but I'll never complain about a 3-1 week one and possibility of a 4-1 start. So it was good discipline, especially avoiding the Tennessee, because I loved Tennessee. But again, I told you I was so invested at 8.5, 8. Knew it was a risk that it could land at the 7.5, and it's crazy. It really did land on the 8, and they should have covered that game, maybe even won it outright 100 different ways. But yeah, the coaching in that game was just brutal. Again, it's like we talk about. It's these teams that are bad. It's what happens, right? So that's why we focus so hard on getting the best of the number. And yeah, thank God we avoided that one. That'd be tough to be sitting here 2-2 because we put Tennessee back in. Yeah,
look, well, also, it kind of played out the way we thought it might. On the field, Cam Ward wasn't that good, and he looked like a rookie quarterback playing against a fierce pass rush. There was one point where they were on the 25-yard line after a muffed fumble by the Broncos late in the game. They ended up punting because he got sacked so many times. He was back on the other side of midfield.
Before half was the most egregious thing. They had the ball before half, we'll say 45 seconds left, and they could have just ran it out. And Denver would use their 2 timeouts, but that would have been the end of the half. They're up 6-3 at this point. But for some reason, in their mind, they're dropping Cam Ward back to pass because they're going to steal 3 points before half in 40 seconds with a rookie quarterback that, like you said, hasn't been doing much the whole day. That's what I'm talking about, the coaching. It's like they punt there, 2 plays, Denver scores a touchdown. They get lucky on a kickoff, and they get 3 there. But, you could have gone into half up 6-3. You're going into half down 10-9. Changes the whole makeup of the game. So just little things like that. It's like Tennessee, I believe in them this year when no one else did. I really planted my flag on this game because of all the data that backs up betting teams that, struggled last year against the spread versus teams that overperformed against the spread. Came to fruition this week 1, but yeah, landing right on 8. That's why I love what we do. It's like, that's crazy that line landed right on 8 and that the books were just so sharp with it. And it was 8.5, 9 for about 48 hours, maybe even 72 hours. So, that was a number that sat there. The public kept taking it, and Yeah, we got it away with one too, like Survivor contest. I'm glad we're done with the Bo Nix experience with our Survivor contest.
Well, look, that's the other thing is that he was not very good.
Oh, he was
And
terrible.
and the Titans defense was much, much better, I think, than we expected them to be.
Defense and special teams. I told you both things would be better.
Yeah,
Even
Jeffrey Simmons
Cam Ward,
was dominant
Cam Ward didn't
today.
lose the game, right, Chad?
Yeah.
He was bad, Cam Ward, but he didn't lose the game.
No.
If that was Will Levis, they would have lost by 2 touchdowns.
Right. What lost the game, honestly, was just how dominant the Broncos defense was, because Bo Nix didn't win them the game in any way. He made sort of the right plays at the end, but he's the whole reason the Titans were in it to begin with. I want to do a quick recap on the Jets because they were fun and chippy and aggressive. They played with the attitude that we thought Aaron Glenn would bring. And Justin Fields was kind of awesome. 9 of 11 in the first half, 16 of 22 in the game. Breece Hall had more than 100 yards rushing. Super physical. Like, they were making a point. There was a second half drive where Justin Fields scrambled, looked downfield on multiple plays. He was accurate. Then, to finish the drive, bullied his way into the end zone to give the Jets a 2-score lead. After the Jets gave up the lead, they went right back down the field. Justin Fields, a 4th down run to score a touchdown to give him the lead back. Like, very interesting team. Kudos to you because you were on this game with the Jets +3 all week. Like, outstanding. Loved it. Loved watching that game. Had so much fun betting that game.
Yeah, and I love Justin Fields' upside for that team coming this season, but that was not at all how I truly envisioned that game going. I thought it would be much more run heavy from both teams and, immediately turned to a shootout. Like, bizarre. Aaron Rodgers, they didn't bring Aaron Rodgers in to get 32 points, right? They brought him in to hopefully manage the game and then get them in a position to win at the end. And he threw for 4 touchdowns. That was an incredible game by Rodgers because there's points in the game where he does look like an old man. He just makes these like old man mistakes and takes these bad sacks. But then he'll make throws where it's like that's vintage Rodgers. And there's only a handful of quarterbacks in the history of the league that could ever make those type of throws. And, Justin Fields, brutal. Like, every chance to win that game, played so well. Once again, the Jets are a bad team. They made little mistakes, got them in the end. That's why they lost that game. And, Tomlin coach Pittsburgh team steals that game on the road. And another time where we talk about how important the number 2 is, right? Yeah. Landed right on 2. Talk all the time ad nauseum. The NFL has changed. It happens every week. It feels like a number lands on 2. Another spread really sharp by the bookmakers. The public absolutely hammered Pittsburgh -2.5. So, yeah, the books cleaned up today, and usually that's when we clean up as well. So that was a really nice spot for them and a really nice number. And I'm still shocked Pittsburgh won that game. I just thought the Jets played so much better. I can't believe they didn't close it out at the end.
Yeah, I think if we looked back at that game, looked back at the Browns game, you'll be shocked that those two teams weren't the winners because they really kind of dominated the games. To review from the week, Simon Says was the Browns. They covered. Chad Loves Love was Detroit. They did not. The first half, they were much better than the score indicated, but the Packers were just dominant. Like, defensively, they were pretty amazing, and there were enough times where Jordan Love was able to find holes in the Lions defense. Lions dropped an interception. Alex Anzalone dropped an interception that could have been critical. They had a penalty on interception from Brian Branch that he ran back for a touchdown. So tough spots for them. That's going to be a game we got to look at a little more deeply to figure out what we think of Detroit. Brass balls, Tennessee, we had them basically at 8.5. So good for them. Good for us. Rocking a hard place bet. Baltimore, we're on them as a very short favorite tonight. So that'll be the key to getting us to 500 on those 4 critical titled bets. Let's talk about some early leans, Simons, quickly. Bad news because New England at Miami. I checked this line at about 5:45 and it was 1.5 Miami. First bet I made. Don't tell me it's square. I get it. It's up to 2.5 pretty much across the board. Hard Rock bet 2.5. I'd bet this game up to 3. Like, you're going to have to lean Miami after such a bad showing in week 1.
I will, but I'm not forcing them. There's zero chance I'm letting you put in the contest. So, like, again, I've given out my opinion. I've made my stand on Miami. Chad has gone right back to the stove to touch the stove one more time on this Miami Dolphins team, even though I explained to him exactly why
But you're
they're
not,
going to be
dude,
a terrible team this season.
You're telling me that at 1.5 you wouldn't play the Dolphins?
I don't care if the Dolphins are a 3-point dog. If this line moves 5 points, I wouldn't let you put this into the contest. I tried to teach you a lesson today, and it clearly did not work. So
didn't work.
It
didn't work.
So no, I mean I get where you're coming from. They're up to -2 at Hard Rock. Miami, it's gonna be the professional side. I got no interest in this team, and even if they come through, I won't let us get sucked into this trend of like them always being undervalued this year because the public is going to be like me. They're totally out on this team. They just Tua looked totally lost, but that just overall they look like they have no will or desire to be out there. They got big boy today. Like
it was bad. It was pretty bad. They really did look like they hadn't spent any time preparing the past month. It was astonishingly bad, which is when you bet that team the following week. Philadelphia at Kansas City. These were just a couple games that like I noticed. I'm going to want you to give me some of yours too. Kansas City's only a 1.5 point favorite at home. They looked terrible on Friday night. I do wonder how much of that had to do with Xavier Worthy, who's going to be such a critical part of their game plan, being knocked out immediately. We have a history of wanting to bet the Chiefs at certain numbers when they are less than a 3-point favorite or a dog. It did not work out for us in the Super Bowl. We had the Chargers in the contest at 3.5. That worked out for us this past week. I'd rather be a little bit late on fading the Chiefs, and 1.5 feels a little too light for me.
Agree. I think this number is what you just talked about. It's respect for past years, and this is a team that is down their number 1 and number 2 wide receiver when they were already struggling offensively. And Pacheco's not what he used to be. He is talented, but he just looks a little slower, and that offensive line doesn't look like they're that great at blocking. And the Eagles are coming off an extended rest from home. Like they were at home after their game on Thursday. This Chiefs team was flying back from Brazil, and that's a big deal for week 1, right? You lose that type of game. Now you're on a long flight home, not getting back till Saturday. Yes, that's not a short week, but it's not extended rest like the Eagles are coming off. And I think the Eagles last week, they might have won that game. I don't think they're going to treat it as such this upcoming week in practice, right? I think they know they got away with one, and they played really slow in the second half. So this number at Hard Rock is already up to +1 Chiefs. So I'm going to grab the Eagles now, and I'll maybe take a big position and buy back later on the Chiefs if that becomes, if this gets up to +3, I don't have a choice. At that point, this is going to move too much, and I'll take that value on this Chiefs team. But it's scary. Like, if someone that likes this Chiefs team wants to back them, it like that Worthy thing. There could have been a more important player to that offense.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster to be your number 1 and 2 receivers. That's a scary spot to be in right now for that offense. So, yeah, Mahomes in that game was incredible, honestly, against the Chargers. Like, the stuff he does, it's a constant reminder why he is the best quarterback in football, and he has nothing around him right now. And it's a team that we're going to have a ton of value on later in the season, especially where if they are, 3-6 or 4-6 at some point, and everyone's counting them out. I'll love them once they get everyone back and they're healthy. But as they stand right now, Chad, this is a team I'm looking to take a position on against with this early number. And if you can get Eagles that plus number, I'd take it. We're just giving out Hard Rock right now, and that's -1.
Las Vegas is a 3.5 point home underdog against the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers are overvalued right now because of beating the Chiefs, who we just discussed, I think are a little bit diminished in terms of quality and health. The Raiders are now getting to go home, and they're playing inside where Geno can be elite. The only reason I would hesitate right now is Brock Bowers. He left the game with a knee injury. He tried to go back in. They wouldn't let him. Generally, I think there's optimism he will play. What do you think of getting the hook?
I don't hate it. Yeah, you can grab it now if you want to. I mean, that's obviously a really nice spot, and it's a standalone game. So I'm with you. I feel like the public will keep coming on the Chargers, so we can grab the 3.5 now. But that's also a line that could keep going up. Like Chad just said, if Bowers is out, the public, they're going to be taking a heavy position. I mean, I can already see them parlaying them with the Bucks, that back-to-back game on Monday night. So, yeah, I'd like your early read here, plus 3.5. That's good value.
All right. What am I missing? I got Cincy minus 5.5 against the Jags. I like Cincy as an early lean. Cleveland plus 12.5 against Baltimore. In Baltimore, that feels egregious. Jets plus 8.5 at home versus Buffalo. Both of those feel way too big. And I'm trying not to be sort of overly biased based on what we saw today.
Yeah, I'll just talk again because we have literally two shows coming this week. I'll just talk about the lines that jumped out right away to me from what Hard Rock put up. And when I first went to their page, I was going to think to myself, what will they make the lines before the Bears play? And I was shocked they hung a minus 4.5. And lines at home minus 4.5 against a Bears team that what me and Chad think should be happening is them having a very emotional win on Monday night. Maybe you get better value, but if they get rolled here, this number could easily get up to 6.5. Like this line's number could shoot up if this Bears team does not look right and doesn't look prepared. So that's a number that jumped out. I grabbed it just thinking the public most likely wouldn't be on the Lions. We'll see. Another line that jumped out that I grabbed it just because we talked about the key number of 2.5. Seahawks. I'm going back to the well. They're playing Pittsburgh. And crazy ending to their game, like just an insane flukish end. And I think the Seahawks in this game would have been at a pick. Honestly, if they would have won that game at home, I think they would have got more respect from the general public. Feels like we're getting a free 1.5, 2 points here. And I'll say this about Pittsburgh. They have a bunch of stuff you can really attack on their defense. Like their secondary is banged up. They have major issues if they have a really banged up secondary because Justin Fields looked like an all-pro passer. That's a problem. So just looking at this matchup, it really favors the Seahawks team. The fact that they're coming off this type of brittle loss, I'm not going to make people rush to take this one. Just know this is a position I'm already taking that, just like the Jets, I can see the public liking Pittsburgh in this spot. Could see this growing up to 3.5. And Chad knows the deal. Tomlin at home is a favorite once he crosses 3. That is not a position you want to be in. Usually he loses those type of games. So
the one thing I would say about Seattle, we worried about their offensive line. Their offensive line was not very good today. And the Steelers still have a good pass rush that got in Justin Fields' grill a lot today. Like the whole reason the Seahawks lost that game is because the Niners were able to rush. They got into Sam Darnold's grill and forced a fumble when they were at the 10-yard line.
It's fair. I mean, I thought their offense was pretty good, but yeah, it was a tough matchup. I mean, they had a dumb fumble by their wide receiver. Like a lot of things just didn't work their way. And I thought they played well. Run blocking, I thought they did better, but we'll see. We'll see what this line moves to. So yeah, if you don't want it, that's gonna honestly make me like it even more. I'll be honest with you, Chad. You're ice cold right now.
That feels dismissive.
I'm just gonna save it for the show. I'm happy you like Pittsburgh and you have doubts about this season.
I'm not saying I like Pittsburgh. I'm just saying I'm not sold on Seattle.
You're gonna pass on it for the contest. You're gonna pass on it for betting.
You are just feeling yourself right now.
I want a lot of money.
What else? What else is on your little list?
These are just again games that jump out to me where it's like I'm shocked about the public early line value and the sides they love. And it's going to be this Colts side against this Broncos team. Colts are +3. I'm shocked they are +3 at books right now. Like I couldn't believe Hard Rock put up Colts +3. So they're giving me the Saints from last year deja vu. I don't know if we're going to keep riding this Colts team, But as they stand, I don't know. I feel like that's a good spot to back them against the Denver team that the public, they're going to come back and bet them next week. Like I don't think they're going to be worried about them. And to me, these two teams, as I say right now, they're not that different stylistically. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to force us into it. There's another line that's gross. I'm not going to make us take it, Chad, but I think you're going to be on the same page with me. The Panthers, they're up to 6.5 against that Cardinals team.
Yeah.
Could have lost a million different ways to the Saints today. So I know people, I was hoping we'd maybe wait a week or two for our Panthers love. But that's egregious. 6.5 against that Cardinals team is egregious after they just got blown out. Like, I know we're going to find some crazy stats about these teams that got rolled.
Yeah.
Panthers are going to fit into that. So just early bet. I've already bet at Hard Rock here, plus 6.5. Give me the Panthers.
I honestly had the Panthers in the script. I don't know if you saw it. And I skipped it just because I was so embarrassed to say it. I thought you were going to treat me the way you just did about Seattle, and so I just didn't want to bring it up. So I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, we got it. It's just a game I know come Thursday I'm probably really going to get warm to. Everything from that Cardinals game is exactly why I have my doubts about them. It's just Kyler just looks so
totally.
Yeah, so that's crazy. It's gone up to 6.5, and I'm just gonna throw a little on because I'll be patient. Like if the public really loves this Cardinals team and we can get a 7 here, 7.5 in our contest, it might be unavoidable putting this one in next week.
Yeah. All right, so that's the lineup that we're thinking about. Those are our early leans. Reminder: we got the Ravens tonight. That will be the closeout for our contest. We are 3-1. We won with the Chargers. We won with the Browns. We won with the Jags. We lost on the Dolphins. We'd like the Ravens to finish 4-1 for our 5 best today. This has been Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We're part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back with our next Sharper Square on Tuesday to go over the entire NFL slate. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharp or Square. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also, download us from Spotify, Apple Pod, wherever you get your pods. Because, most importantly, rate, review, because feedback is always a gift. And it helps make the show easier to find for everyone. Until next time, love you.